So apologies for the wind straight away, but you know, what can you do? Go somewhere that's less windy, I guess. Okay. So I guess I haven't talked about the website for a while because I've been really focused on splitting the two YouTube channels apart. I got the CoinOp Animator, which is my vlog channel now, and I've split off the animation channel. It's CoinOp Animations. The CoinOp Animations are doing pretty well. I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, it's definitely helping. Um, I did set myself the goal of only releasing a new completed, or as completed as I possibly could, video every 2 weeks. At the moment I'm going a little bit nuts. I'm releasing one every week. It wasn't the intention. I should have been building up a stockpile, but I haven't done that. But never mind, that's where we're at. And it's good. Like, I've got a whole bunch of animations up there at the moment. I seem to be obsessed with dance videos at this stage. My latest being the Axolotl guy, or the Axolotl Kaiju dancer. Yeah. Okay, so website wise, me selling stuff online is not going so well. I've never been able to resolve the issue with Google. I've tried to get a response out of them. I've got nothing. I've sent emails to WordPress, who organise Woo, and I never got anything back. I'm going to chase them again and just trying to figure out why it is that I can't advertise my website or get involved in the Google Analytics side of it, where I can actually advertise and get on the search. You may have noticed that on search engines now, that like the first half of the page is just adverts, and there's a certain amount of the search results after that which is also paid for. You know, and I just want to put some adverts, or like some YouTube adverts and stuff about, you know, what I'm selling. But you know, the fact I can't do it is kind of good, because inventory is still kind of very limited. I'm having sort of an interesting time with Gelato. So when Gelato updates, or I update my prices or change something with my t-shirts, my posters, whatever, I'm using Gelato in England because it's just a better service for, you know, the same products as Printful or Printful, but they don't take the money out. They don't charge me before they take the money from the customer. Does that make sense? So what Gelato do is, when they're charging the customer through the app, they take their share out and then give me the rest, which I think is a really, really better way of doing it. But the American Printful system does it the other way. Plus I found their website a little bit more convoluted. Anyway, so I'm using Gelato, and one of the problems I have is when it updates, when I update anything, even if it's just the price, it uploads everything to the WordPress site, and I need to go back and manually delete all the pictures, and the pictures take up a lot of room. And I now have thousands of Gelato, even though I have a couple of products. I have thousands of pictures now, which I have to manually go through and delete, and it's just unnecessary. There should be some way of the program or the interface between WooCommerce, WordPress and Gelato recognizing that the pictures haven't changed, it's just the metadata, so just change that. Maybe with the new version they'll fix that. So it's a minor thing now. The other thing that I found is their stuff's frequently out of stock, the colours that I like, and they take a long time to come back in stock, and it's not been good. So I've got to be a bit more judicial in my choice of colours that I display on the website, because I don't have any actual data for it, but I'm not selling many t-shirts at the moment, next to nothing really. And initially there was a little burst, and now I'm not selling anything at all. So I'm not sure what that's down to. It could be something with how the website is presented, maybe because I turned off the guest account and turned it, and so people could buy stuff as a guest, they had to register. And I've noticed that some of the people that have registered, it's bullshit email addresses, so I might as well have just let them register as a guest, and maybe give them a voucher or something to encourage them to come back of their own free will to give me a real address. So forcing people to sign up to get either a freebie or get whatever they want is not a good move, and no, that's got to be corrected. I recognise that. So that's got to be corrected. My WordPress site, yeah, WordPress has this interesting thing with the shop page. If you are in WordPress, you just assign what the key pages are, like your home page, your blog page, your shop page, and all of that is like index and SEO and how the site behind the scenes structures the website. Now, blog, homepage are fine. Shop, however, I have a particular page that I want presented when people come to the shop section, and if I specify it's a shop page, it it displays something completely different to what I've laid out. Like it decides, oh, I don't want like your layout. I'm going to do my own layout. I tried flushing the cache. I tried doing it again, and time after time, WordPress does this to the point that I've had to rename my shop page store and not have it indexed in the website as the store page, and have all the links to it in the menus manually linked, so WordPress doesn't recognize it as the home shop page, which to me seems ridiculous. And it's a minor thing that bugs me, because it would be nice just to call it shop and not have it obliterate what I want displayed on my shop homepage. It's almost like the shop homepage is more like an about page and not actually an immediately selling page. But it's a weird bug, and people are talking about it online, and no one seems to be fixing it. So thanks, WordPress. You're really good apart from that. So that's the issue. What else were we going to talk about? I'm thinking of firing up Shopify. I'm thinking there are things that I'm finding through the process of using WordPress, how maintenance involved it is, that you don't just, like, it was difficult enough to set up initially, but the fact that you have to constantly maintain it, because when you update things, update one thing, it breaks another thing. You have to go in and fix that, and if you're not on top of it 24/7, or like checking in every single, in morning, noon and night, something's updated and it's broken something else, and you've just got to keep an eye on it, which is an unfortunate thing. I guess it keeps tech people in work. My email addresses, I didn't get an email address or a reminder that my emails were going to be cancelled. I have specific site-specific emails like news, help, ask, that sort of thing, which you were required to have when working as a company, and these were deleted. Now, it didn't really matter that much because I haven't got the newsletter up and running. I'm just using WordPress's own built-in notification system, which means that every time you do a blog, it sends out a compressed version of that blog post, with a link to read the whole thing on your website. So it doesn't update you on every change on the website, just that. And that's been working fine. I've got a few people following me that way. And I have the conventional newsletter, which gives you the discount code if you sign up and you want to buy stuff. Yeah. So, but I'm thinking what I might try and do an A/B test now. I will set up a Shopify shop in addition to the WooCommerce, because I paid for that for the year, and I want to see if people are more willing to buy on Shopify, even though it costs me a bit more than on WooCommerce. But maybe because my website looks like a blog, or Shopify has, kind of like Etsy, I guess, has a certain safety sort of cachet, kind of like the membership things. Like, I know people didn't want to sign up for Ko-Fi, but were asking me to set up a Patreon, because Patreon's where they do their stuff, and they wouldn't come over because they're just like, no, I do Patreon, that's all I do. And even though Ko-Fi is exactly the same as Patreon, but better for the user, they wouldn't. No, I just have my Patreon, that's it. And we know that you just got to make it as easy as possible for people to pay you or sponsor you or look after you the way that they can, right? So yeah, and Patreon have this shop thing that they're starting up in the States, which I quite like the look of, but I can't get a straight answer about the costs. If you sell something on the Apple store, Apple takes 30%. So some stores add 30% to your price or take 30% off. Now, if you're selling stuff and your markup's only 40-50%, which is the standard markup, it may sound like a lot, but by the time you factor in your time, your tax, 20% of that's going to be taxed straight away. The cost of running the business, and everything else, plus you want a little bit of wiggle room so you can offer your own discounts. By the time Apple take their 30% off, you're actually in a deficit, which is really shit because they're not doing anything, and it's really high. So I can't get a straight answer on whether if you sell stuff through the Patreon shop, the 30% is added or deducted, and it's very important. Very, very important. Also, I wanted to know if using the Patreon shop and you could switch it off on iOS, because you'll notice like on Amazon you don't buy stuff through Amazon on your iPhone anymore. You have to go to the website because Apple wants 30% of that as well, which is something I think like the EU should have a look at, because I don't think that's right, because Apple's not doing anything, is it? Even if it was just like a little card processors take anywhere up to 5-6% of your transaction. Why are Apple taking 30%? It's not like they're hosting it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they're doing anything to facilitate the sale. They're not helping you. Don't use that 30% to promote your product. They do nothing. They just sitting on it, collecting it. You're not even selling it through an Apple store. So can you switch that option off for iOS users? Or can you switch it so it adds 30% on with a little message that says you'll be charged 30% more because Apple charges us 30% more, so go to the website and buy it and you'll get 30% off effectively. No answer about that. No one seems to give a shit about that, including your main man on Patreon. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. So yeah, basically, the CoinOp Animations is doing pretty well for a very small channel that's been out for like 4 weeks. The making ops are going well. I'm really getting my mojo with my Moho. Really enjoying that. The website is stable and it works fine, and I really need to be pushing the business side of it. There are some things I need to do to encourage people to sign up for this newsletter and start purchasing stuff, and I think the first thing that we need to do is run a competition of my models, and I think it needs to be a big one, like people that subscribe, follow me on my Patreon or on my website or for the newsletter or whatever it is, they go in a prize draw and they can win everything. And I mean like all the digital downloads, just get them all. And maybe what I'll do for one lucky winner is print off a selection, like a selection of a couple of pieces that they choose, and I'll print them off and ship them out to them as a thank you. Test out the new print on demand service, which is priced up, and I just got to commit. I just got to start putting prices on shit. And trying to figure out how WooCommerce does international shipping as well, and because it's asking me to buy another plugin to validate what country I'm in, which I don't think is right. Anyway, that's the end of the vlog. That's where we're at. Ciao for now. Be good to each other and stay cool till after school. Ta-ta.